I paid a shiva call, Mice Krause, great-grandmother with Nifteris. 4 children. She had 4 children. The woman was a Holocaust survivor in the camps. She was in Gehenna. The end of the day, Gehenna. The entire family's from. The entire family, B'nai Torah. I don't care what you did. It's not happening. We're here. And I mentioned I have a son-in-law that's the choral director in Houston. So his grandfather, Zatzal, Rabbi Yehuda Friedman, was a Holocaust survivor. I couldn't believe it. At the chasanas, when they would dance at him, and he would have his hand in his hand, and he once turned to me and he says, Rabbi Katz, we're here. This is the most important message. We're here. There's anti-Semitism all over the world. We're going to get out of it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's in charge.
Beruchim Abayim, and welcome to Torah Talks Chazaq's Tuesday night program with special guests. We have with us Rabbi Marty Katz, Shlita Baruch Haba, our dear neighbor.
Great to be here.
How you doing?
We're doing great.
Baruch Hashem.
Old friends, we're great.
Chazde Hashem once again at the headquarters, and we're going to be speaking about It's Never Too Late. But before we get to that exciting topic, a little bit back on about the rabbi and the great work you're involved with.
So this Rabbi Marty Katz is living in Kew Garden Hills close to 48 years, married with 5 children. Baruch Hashem, they're all married. There are 2 granddaughters married. And
many more smachot and good news.
Okay, 2 are mechanchin, 2 are successful business people. 1 is actually a choral director in Houston, Texas. And Baruch Hashem, they're in the right direction.
Chazde Hashem.
My work, I think many of you know, it's called Just One Life. From the Gemara, Kol HaMakayim Nefesh Achas B'Yisrael, Kiyem Olam Ma'eh, you create, you save the world. You save a life, you save the world. In a nutshell, for the last 34 years, crisis pregnancies. Any problem in pregnancy, God forbid a woman's considering to terminate, God forbid the high-risk pregnancy, there's a dysfunctional family, any problem, we are there. I've been HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shliach. Shliach. We've saved over 21,000 nefashos. Rav Pamo of Hashem was the first rabbinic advisor. Then it went to Rav David Feinstein, and he should only be well, Zygazint, he should be terrific. Rav Ruvain Feinstein now holds that banner.
We have the schut to have a Reuven Feinstein on the Torah Talk.
I know, I've watched it, and there's a lot of another.
Yes.
If I had to pick the word besides the godless from each of these 3 gedolim that I mentioned. Okay? That really is my work. We've saved twins, triplets, quadruplets.
Eretz Yisrael primarily.
I was going to come to that. All in Eretz Yisrael. If there's a situation in America, I know where to send it to because there's a group here that does it. So we send it to them in the United States. The quadruplets I always talk about, they're 25 years old. One's married with 2 kids, one's married with 1 kid, one just got married. It's Hashem, the 4th will get married. Yeah, and the doctors told this woman to fetal reduce, to terminate. We were there, and Chazde Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent us. Rav Yosef was a Sandik, Rav Olav Shalom, Rav Chacham Ovadia, Olav Shalom was a Sandik. It's very special. It's very special. And in addition to that, as some of you know, I've done some different kinds of consulting or advisory work for different kinds of projects, different kinds of stuckers. I think in a nutshell, that's the Rabbi Marty Katz, Rabbi Marty Katz story. In a nutshell, Zichrono Uvracha, my mother upstairs is saying, this kid, you're doing okay. That's okay.
Baruch Hashem, Rabbi Marty Katz. So you just told us how Just One Life is affecting, Baruch Hashem, so many babies and families, and having an effect on them. How did it have an effect on you, being involved with such an amazing cause?
You somehow appreciate life in a different way. You know, somebody once said to me, he's actually a very successful person in real estate. He says to me, Rabbi Marty, at the end of the day, they tell me how many bathrooms were fixed, how many walls were painted, how many sidebars are needed for the outside of the house. And at the end of your day, you're figuring out how many babies were born. So it's impacted me. It's opened my eyes up. I still have the same passion 34 years later that I had 34 years ago. And 34 years ago, I couldn't believe the cause. I just couldn't.
How did the rabbi get involved with the cause? How did that all come into?
Interestingly enough, I was involved. I was a teacher in Ramaz. I was an executive vice president at a well-known synagogue, Lincoln Square Synagogue. Then I took off 2 years to go into business, and it failed.
Oh, wow.
It failed. It totally failed. My kids are Sharatori boys, and Rav Yaakov Grossman, I don't know if he remembers this, the Sholem Meshiv there, Mashgiach there, once said to me, I heard you were in business, and I heard it failed. You know what I said, Marty Katz, when I heard it failed? I said, what'd you say, Rav Yaakov? Baruch Hashem! Baruch Hashem! Because look where you are. And then I looked around for different causes and projects. There was no shortage of, seriously, a lot of big name brands spoke to me because they just spoke to me. And I was called actually by, believe it or not, a headhunter agency, Joe Paul. And they told me about this. 120,000 pregnancies, 90,000 births, 30,000 aren't born, all sorts of data. World War II to now, 1.2 million babies. 1.2 million babies were annihilated in World War II. And since the establishment of the State of Israel till now, if it were not for the, this factor of terminating, we would have had another 1 million babies. I said, what's going on here? I couldn't believe it. I said, you know what? Sometimes you have to do something that just grabs at you. And it was a challenge. Because in the beginning, people were saying, you're kidding, even in the Jewish community. And then we expanded. We went into every area of pregnancy around. And the rest is, now we're very busy with the war.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the war and how is it affecting...
We've had 500 cases since October 7th. I could just give you cases that, 2 cases. We have a case where a woman's husband was killed in Gaza. I have another case. It's a crisis case. She says, I need to abort. You know why? I'm expecting. My husband's going to Gaza. He's not going to make it. Or is he going to make it? I don't know. I hope he makes it. But maybe I should terminate like this. If God forbid he doesn't make it, somebody will marry me. Because if not, and I have a baby, it's a whole story. Our team in Israel are not just people who are women helping and advising. Yaniv, they're professionals. They have degrees from Wurzweiler, from YU, from Hebrew U, from Tel Aviv, from Shaarei Tzedek. Shaarei Tzedek, when I walk into Shaarei Tzedek, I'm like the Rosh Hashiva Panovich. We get 50, 60, 70 cases from them of high-risk pregnancies. So it's impacted me to appreciate life and to realize we're not in charge. I say this to you delicately. Sometimes people say to me, if the work you do, maybe you're a holy man. I said, no. They're a holy men. The work's holy. By the way, Yaniv Meirav, no one asked me to say this. You and your brother, Chazaq, you're rescuing kids from public school? You're stealing them out of public school? It's holy work. I'm not saying you're holy because you'd throw me out for saying you're holy. But the work is holy. And no one asked me to say this. I want everybody to understand this clearly, and I want to make sure it's not edited. There's holiness that happens here. The Ken Yirbu.
Ken Yirbu. We should only be able to do good. But what can one do about the situation in Eretz Yisrael according to your opinion? What do you suggest?
So, who am I to give Musa, but I'm going to talk about what I did myself. Herschel Weltzman, Morav Dasa, told a story at the Knesset Gedola when Rav Meir Shapiro unveiled, I guess it was in the 30s, unveiled Daf Yomi, I think it was in the 30s, the first Knesset Gedola. There was a Chafetz Chaim, and next to the Chafetz Chaim is a Bochos, a Baron Kotel. And he unveils it, and the Chafetz Chaim Kili clapped and said in Yiddish, why didn't I think of it? How's the English on that? Why didn't I think of it? So I'm listening to this little talk here, and I said, you know what? I've tried Daf Yomi. It could be any type of learning. Let me see what we could do here. I changed my entire schedule. Those of you who know me know I stay up till 1, 2 o'clock. Trust me, not watching the Yankee game to see who's playing center field. Okay? Just like Rabbi Niv is up till 1, 2 o'clock, I can tell you that. He's not busy dealing with the Mets and center field. Okay? And I haven't changed that time slot, which is scary. I get up 5:20, 5:30. There's a chabur of about 5 of us at the daf. And to me, that's impactful because it's a small group. Ruvi Ginsburg, he should Zagazint. somebody at the Chabur by the name of Leon Stern, an old friend. We go back. There's a whole relationship between the Sterns and the Katzes. And I switched around my schedule, and he and I must be running 4, 5 to 7 hours a week. And I'm not embarrassed to say that. Talk to me in a year from now if it worked. Talk, in other words, I'm still here. Okay? So the mussar I'm giving is, we hear so many talks. Oh, he spoke great. Oh, he was unbelievable. Oh, he was fantastic. Did you hear the message? It's unbelievable. It's terrific. It's not a trick, is how do you take yourself, believe me, you know my schedule, and suddenly say, how do I switch around? All the phone calls I get, some of them can wait, and they can wait. That's really the Mussar Haskel to myself and to everybody. So the war, what can we do? I guess write to the congressman, write to the president. Be mispalo for the chayalim who are mispalo in the sense that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's totally in charge. And that's really where it starts from. That's where it comes from. There's a deep message here. Rav Elia Brodny spoke about the whole Yad Hashem. There's a deep message here. It's a message to us that we have to do something. We have to grab the bull by the horn. I'm close also to Rav Obam in this community, and I often think of this simple story he told of the Chafetz Chaim who didn't tie his shoelaces so he can get an extra 5 minutes in his learning. I appreciate it more now at my young age, okay? But Yaniv told me I can't say what it is, so I won't. Possibly than I did before. Those are items in terms of learning. Tehillim is a biggie, okay? Tehillim is a biggie. The Moetzes Kedera Torah of Eretz Yisrael, in conjunction with the Moetzes over here in America, Tehillim is said around the clock. Okay, it's Vil Tefillah, whether it's Pei Gimel, Kuf Mem Beis, Lamed Aleph, Lamed, Chaf Aleph. It's a key. It's a key in who we are. But we can't let the passion dissipate the way we may be doing. And on October 7th, there was unity. All Jews spoke to each other. We cried. A lot of the politics fell through the wayside, Baruch Hashem. But we have to keep it up. It's a test for all of us. And Baruch Hashem, the truth is, I'm in a different Batei Midrashim and Batei Knesset that Tehillim is done in an unusual way. I've seen it done, and it's Chazaq me. I'm reminded that there was an intifada in the, 2008, 2010, I don't remember, where again we needed Tehillim, and we then was round the clock calling out and davening. And then after a few weeks, again, it dwindles. I was lucky to be with Rav Marty Katz. That's all. I was with, okay, and who am I? There's not enough that can be said about Rav Marty Katz. And he said to me, I was next to him, he says, Menachem, they're ploppled. Already people were running out of the shul. Half the shul is running out. Favos, why? Is it better already? I still hear him, Rabbi Yaniv, saying it. I still hear him. He did two things to me. That, and he once asked me to give him a bracha. He asked me to give him a bracha based on the avodas hakodesh I do. So I said, I need a bracha from the mashgiach. That's a side story. Okay, that's a side story. Okay, so he gave me a bracha, and then he was very strong, by the way. He grabbed my right arm. I feel the strength now. And he says, you're not leaving this dining room. You're not leaving this house till you give me a bracha. This is after I give him a bracha. But then he went back to tefillah. And, all right. Who am I to give the mussar? I'm just telling you, Rabbi Isai, while we're smiling, it's unreal what's going on, not just Eretz Yisrael, all over the world. We know it, okay? We know it, okay? Universities, they're gone, okay? I already know somebody who told me that one of his students, as he was walking in Columbia University, he was stopped by, I guess, two Palestinians or whatever it is, who said, you're a Jew. Either you should be dead, or maybe we'll take care of it and we'll make sure you're dead. It's
Anti-Semitism, terrible.
okay,
Yeah, this
and
business.
I don't. I'm not a maven in the solution. I'm not even a maven in analysis. So, listen, last week's Torah, we spoke about the Chesed of Hashem. That at the end of the day, we all come through. We're all familiar with this. Of all the empires, Rome, Bavel, this, no one survived. We're here. We're all familiar with the Panovich Rav. He went to Rome as he didn't even get undressed, didn't even have a drink of water, didn't even unpack. He was with his Gizbar, his Shamus in Rome, and he says, I got to go to Titus, the Tower of Titus, Shar Titus. And he calls out in Yiddish, Ich bin du, wie bist der? I'm here, where are you? So it's hard because we're saying to ourselves, we're coming out of it because there's a bris, because there's haftacha to the avos. It's hard. It's hard for us to grab onto it. So you have to grab onto it. You have to, in many ways, not be afraid, and it's really it's difficult. It's
like
difficult.
the title, it's never too late, even if you've never been there, done.
That's
Tell him
whatever it is. Listen, I'm not embarrassed to tell you. I'm not telling you what Yaniv just said is true. This whole schedule with the learning. It's not that I didn't learn. It's not that I didn't come from a background of learning. Seriously, there's smicha here, but all of a sudden, at this age, I grabbed to it in a different way than all the other years of learning. And I'm not afraid to tell you something. I told you I'm an advisor. I'm a consultant, as you know, to different projects. I've done work for Torah Masorah, National Jewish Outreach Project, an autism center, a hospital, Shar Yoshev. I can go on. I'm not the consultant, but I've advised. I've coached people in the field. A few weeks ago, it's like the second or third time, 3 or 4 people going into the field, and it's very hard for people to go into nonprofit today. And Rabbi Marty Katz, could we sit with you, 2 or 3 of us, and hear a little advice and coaching as we go into, okay. And when I was in Torah Masorah, besides, I lectured there was a whole series on different topics of marketing, fundraising, and 2 or 3 years I was there. I don't want to go through the advice I gave them in terms of professional advice because there's no need to bore you or bore everybody else. But I'm going to tell you how I started off. So all of you think you're in the Hatzalah business, saving lives. All of you think you're busy 24/7. You don't have time for anything else. All of you think you're parted from Kvias and learning. I'm telling you, I said this. And you're going to go out, you're going to do great things, and you're going to forget. All of you think maybe you even parted from your family. How should I have supper with them? Should I bring flowers to my wife? And there were Gedolim who brought flowers to their wives. Trust me, I saw it. You're going to rationalize. Don't make the mistake. Don't do it. Of all your phone calls, maybe 15, 20 are you have to handle right away. Don't do it. So one guy raises his hand and says, Rabbi Katz, how do you know what you're saying? It sounds great. I said, I don't want you to make my mistake. I don't want you to make the mistake. And believe me, I'm not embarrassed to tell you this. I'm known in the community. I'm respected in the community. I give advice all the time, and I did learning, but I don't feel I should have. I did it the way it really should be done. And my kids have heard me say this, and it's a role model for the kids that the nachas they're getting. Okay, every Friday afternoon, the boys that are over bar mitzvah call me with divrei Torah. We exchange. Get into the habit. If you need a list, a roster of what I'm talking about, I'll take you out to lunch. I'll give you the roster so you don't make the mistake. Amazing. Don't make the mistake.
And it's never too late, no matter what the situation is.
It's never too late. Right. Listen, Rabbi Fran, that the Siyam HaShas, one of the Siyam HaShas, says it's never too late. Yep. And it becomes a pointed model to everybody else.
You mentioned model. If there would be one role model, but a lady there, that the Rabbi Katz would, who sticks out?
Lay leader? I'm going to be gutsy and I'm going to tell you who because you caught me off guard. Stephen Adelsberg. Stephen Adelsberg, who I know at least 50 years, but you lose contact. He reminded me that when he was a pot washer in camp, I told him, you're going to be something, Adelsberg. But he taught me something. He never forgot it. He never forgot I told him. I forgot it. He never forgot. And he has a curse I told it. I told it to him. Why? He should live for 120 years, and he did have the machla, and he's a walking miracle. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, but I'm not here to give a whole hesped, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
He's a model of chesed. He's a model of tzedakah. He's a model of avas kol yidden. The same persona that builds beyond.
Yeah, we had an event in Beyond.
Right.
He was the
That
MC
same-
there.
Okay, the Beyond Rebbe's like his their brothers. The same person that builds Beyond, that builds Yeshiva Flatbush, that builds and helps base a Talmud, that gives to Lakewood, that gives to Yeshiva University, that goes into Manhattan Beach and sets up a kollel with Rav Moshe Puchak, that travels to Eretz Yisrael to see the IDF of Meir Goldich. Why? Because he's total Ohev Kol Yid. And I just heard a thought that Rav Rubin spoke about in the name of Aaron Leib last Thursday night about Bayichen Shom, that when Kabbalah Torah came around, 5 million people was a calculation. It was Kalev Echad, Keish Echad, everybody was together. And that's a deep message of his and his whole uniqueness. You see, Yaniv, I told you had the machla, but how many people had multiple myeloma? How many people have the machla? And you can't say because he has the resources. Friday afternoon, I don't know if he starts at 12, 1, I don't know when. How many people? Call up 20, 30, 40, 50 almanas, yisomim, people who have cancer. He meets somebody who has cancer. He starts talking to them. I've seen it. I couldn't believe it. When he's in the hospital, he met somebody, a Rosh Yeshiva's wife. He found out she had cancer because he was there, and they started talking. He calls her, come out every Friday. That's a role model to me. In the same Dvar Torah that I heard from Rav Rubin, it was not Dvar Torah, it was a shir. We spoke about Rav Aaron Leib. Rav Aaron Leib spoke about, you have Memtes, Memtes Shari Tuma, and they have Memtes Yomim between Pesach. Why? Because each day is against the Midah. Each day is against the Midah. Each day is against the Midah that you have to work on. And he spoke about saying shalom, say hello to people, show chesed to people, look at people, worry about people. It's a challenge we all have. It's a total challenge. It's such a challenge. Okay.
Powerful. And it's never too late if a person
Listen,
is not
it's
really
never-
hasn't been
it's-
doing it up until now.
It's never too late.
That's the message. Okay.
And if you try some things and it doesn't work,
Try again.
Listen.
Exactly. Marty, we have a minhag, a custom, a final message for our broad audience. So many different messages we've heard so far.
There's a Dvar Torah. It's a simple Dvar Torah. Sometimes it's Divrei Torah that are said in 60 seconds or less. They carry out. So it's in the name of Rabbi Yoshes, that's all that I heard from Ova.
No, Chazaq over.
From there, it just does something to me. Comes as a shofar, the blowing of the shofar on Yom Norai. The quintessential, the highest moment. Every single Yid, every Jew in Shul, in a base medrash, there's Tahara, there's purity. It doesn't matter. At that moment, it's a Vayichan Sham. At that moment. Before we blow shofar, when Matzeach Livnei Korach. Korach. Hey, if I would ask Katz or Meirav or anybody else, what parak in Tehillim would you say? Give me a parak about Avram Avinu. Give me a parak about Yitzchak. Give me a parak about Yaakov, David HaMelech, Shlomo. Give me. I'm not saying it's not chashuv. Livnei Korach. Yesh kaina olama b'shachas. In 1 second, you can change your life. In 1 second, it's not too late. Zuk Revel Yosef. Revel Yosef says, that's the model. Because at that highest moment, you have the ability, if you work on yourself, to change, to make an impact. That's the message.
Powerful.
With the war, it's learning, it's chesed, it's tehillim, it's family, it's caring. By the way, if anybody, I hope it's okay, wants to even talk to me about this, I could give you my number, 347-996-7751. If it's too fast, just call Rav Meirav. You'll get my number. How do you work on yourself? Even if people will say, what is he working on himself for? He's doing okay. He's great. Family. I leave with an image I have, if I can. I paid a shiva call a week ago with my wife in Muncie. One of my grandsons-in-law, Mike Krause, his great-grandmother was Nifteris. 4 children. She had 4 children. Went to pay the shiva call. The woman was a Holocaust survivor in the camps. She was in Gehenna. The end of the day, Gehenna. The entire family's from. The entire family, B'nai Torah. The entire family basically are the Panovitcherov. I don't care what you did. It's not happening. We're here. We're here. And I mentioned I have a son-in-law that's the Kollel director in Houston. So his grandfather, Zatzal, Rav Yehuda Friedman, was a Holocaust survivor. And I used to marvel. It's a similar type of thing that I said about Mike Krause's great-grandmother. I couldn't believe it. At the chasanas, when they would dance at him, all the grandchildren, they were around him, and he would have his hand in his hand, and he once turned to me, and he says, Rabbi Katz, we're here. This is the most important message. I say this to the Olam, which I'm saying to myself, and please, I'm not from the Chassid Barasha Yeshiva. We're here. They're going to dance to us. There's anti-Semitism all over the world. The tsaris, the hostage, Ayalenu. Daven, learn this. We're going to get out of it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's in charge. We should be Zoicha, Be'ito, with the Yevish's help, with God's help. And thank you very much for being on the show. A very special show.
Yishkach, Rabbi Marty Katz, for those beautiful words of inspiration. Baruch Hashem, every single Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chazaq Torah Talks with special guests. Chazaq.org, CHAZAQ.org. Special shout out and thank you to our friends at Torah Anytime. Special shout out and thank you to Daily Giving. $1 a day. I know that Chazaq and of course Just One Life is also on that amazing platform, organization, revolution that they've created, Dr. Donut.
There is no project in a certain realm like Daily Giving. I got to add to it. It's unreal. $1 a day.
Really goes far away.
It's unreal. Google it. Be part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, it's great.
Baruch Hashem, and Bezat Hashem, we shall hear B'Sarah Tova, we should be Zochet to see the Geulah Shlema, the Kingdom of Redemption. Yishkam B'Meirav B'Mein and Spin in our days. Amen. Yishkach. Chazaq Baruch.